Hey everybody, what is up? Stig here. So, welcome to part 2 of 3 of our Sekiro boss ranking. So, I'm super excited to kind of get into this. So, I forgot to mention it. I kind of put in a little text over it at the intro of the last one. But spoilers, obviously, if you guys either haven't played the game or whatever, you like are just starting the game or something along those lines, obviously spoilers. Or if you guys have only beaten like one of the endings, just keep in mind that there are going to be bosses from the other endings in this. So I don't know. There will be one in this video. There will be one in this video. I think there's only one. So, I guess that's a little bit of a spoiler for anybody that does know all the bosses. But there will be one of the bosses in this video, so that's just like a warning. But this video will be mostly good. If there's like a boss that you don't know, or I'll probably say, maybe I'll say something along those lines, to kind of say like, hey, skip if you want to skip or whatever. But I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way. If people are wanting to be careful of that, if you don't care, go ahead. But I think that's about it for this video. So last episode we went through our number 1 pick, and then the I think 21 through 15. So this video, we should be going through 14 through 8. So that's the plan. So hopefully that is what happens. But with that out of the way, let's get right into the news. Okay, so kicking off this video at number 14, we have the actual Corrupted Monk. This boss is pretty fun. It's just kind of one of those bosses that isn't super difficult. It can be a little challenging because it does have those 3 phases. But really, this boss is kind of a cakewalk. The parry timings are really easy. They feel natural. They feel nice. They have like a nice rhythmic pattern to them. But I mean, it hits hard. So like you could slip up and mess up and get yoinked here or there. But I think one of kind of the main things about this boss is that it's just super easy to just kind of move through it. I failed at the beginning of this fight here, but you can just jump in and death blow it out of the first phase. And the whole point of the second phase is to death blow it out of this. You can get to this tree that I'm on right now and find the actual one right there and take it out. If not, it has like these illusions that it pops out and can be a little hard to kind of do anything with it, but the third phase is the real meat of this fight. It's pretty much the same as the first phase of the fight, but the only difference is that it has like a couple. I think the only difference is that it just has like one more attack, where it kind of like spurts on you or whatever and tries to kill you like that. But it's a cool boss. The entrance kind of to this area is awesome. On the bridge, very very cool like setting to do it in. And then the boss is fun itself, so definitely one of the bosses that I don't mind fighting. It's just a fun boss, but I'm not really expecting any challenge. But it's a good boss, and I would say it's worthy of being in these top 14 and making it into this second video. Okay, so coming in at number 13, we have Gilba. What a Chad, dude. This fight's great. This is the first actual boss of the game. I mean, technically you can fight Lady Butterfly at this point in time, but Lady Butterfly is completely optional. This is like, yeah, this is the boss that first actual boss of the game. He's a pretty good boss. He's not too hard. He's cool. He's on a horse. They introduce you to the firecrackers, kind of right before, in the Ocean outskirts before you get to this boss, which are very good for dealing with beasts, and honestly just really, really good overall. But kind of they give you this here to as they interrupt the horse and make the horse be like, oh, so you can smack it and smack Gilba a little bit more. But it's just a fun fight. From his entrance and how over the top he yells his name, it's fantastic. And the fight is honestly pretty solid too. It's nothing hard. You're not gonna see anybody say it's the hardest boss in the game, because it is by no means the hardest boss in the game. It's very easy, but it's an awesome boss. A really, really good first actual boss of the game. Kind of gets you a little bit more familiar with reflecting, or deflecting. Gets you more used to, gets you more familiar with deflecting, and your grapple hook is you can grapple onto him during the fight. He has a couple of sweeping attacks that you can jump over to kind of get you more familiar with that, and he gets you more familiar to the prosthetic tool with the firecrackers. So really, really awesome fight. Just a really, really solid first actual boss in the game, and that's why he's number 13. So coming in at number 12, we have Orin of the Water. This is, in my opinion, I think the best mini-boss in this entire game. She's fantastic. She's an awesome mini-boss. It's honestly just one of those mini-bosses that just feels like a boss. I don't know, she's just a really, really good and honestly a fun fight. She's fast, she's interesting. She's not as complex as like some, I would say, the actual bosses should be, but for a mini boss she's very complex, and on top of that she's completely 100% unique. There's no other enemy like her in the game. She doesn't get repurposed as a normal enemy later on. She doesn't become an actual boss at some point. She is completely 100% all by herself, and her kind of switching in between and out of being a spirit is an awesome kind of thing to have in this fight, as you see her moving around with kind of just like elegance to it, you know, like she will step out of being a person and go into like a spirit for like half a second, so that way she can get ready for an attack while also not being able to be hit. It's just a really, really cool mechanic to the fight, and she's pretty challenging too. She's typically, I didn't have too much trouble with her the first time I fought her, but for some reason I think almost every single other time I fought her and every single subsequent playthrough, I feel like I've died and had to go, like, she's one of those bosses that I feel like ends up being kind of a run ender for death. I mean, you can just run right by her, which is nice. She will try to get you though. But yeah, and her dialogue is kind of fun that she has, so really just kind of a cool fight. And just one of those fights that I think is a solid, very, very, very solid mini-boss that I think could easily pass as a normal boss. So, yeah, that's why she comes in at number 12.
Shinobi of the Divine Air, we meet again. Behold, the second mortal blade.
Kenichi. If you think you can change Ashina's fate with such a thing, you are mistaken.
Okay, so I'm actually going to start talking right here. So,
Wolf.
Coming in, number 11, Kenichi, third fight.
It is no one's to bear.
This fight's great. Now, this fight I definitely was considering whether or not I should put this on here, because this fight is a precursor fight to the final boss. And there is a boss that is going to be on this list later that is also a precursor boss to a different ending final boss, you know what I'm saying? So if I was going to put that on there, I was like, well, I have to kind of put this on here too. And it's the third time kind of facing the boss, but there's a difference here, obviously. There's a difference each time. This one, he has the Mortal Blade, the second Mortal Blade. So he kind of incorporates that into his attack, like right here. He has this big old attack. Can hurt if you get hit by it. But really, it's the easiest of the 3 Genichiro fights. And one thing that's really awesome about the Genichiro fights is in the very first one, at the very beginning of the game, your main character, he's very rusty. You know, he just was not doing anything with his life for a while, so he's very rusty when he gets into this. Very kind of reaches for his sword. He's very kind of meh and off about it. The second time, he's confident and smooth, but he's slow. In this third one, he just grabs his sword and pulls it out almost immediately, and it also happens to be the easiest of the Genichiro fights. But as the precursor to the final fight, it's great, but it comes in short at number 11. So, hee hee ha ha. Number 10, we have Monkey. So Big Monkey is the first fight to the double Monkey fight that was in the last video, and the better one because it's not a gank fight. This fight is very cool. It's a very kind of big, fresh air, breath of fresh air. Because every single fight in this game is pretty much just like a person. Because I mean, the game is a lot about deflecting. So this is a very good breath of fresh air because it's a beast fight in the game. Now, the first phase is a monkey, and I've always thought that the first phase was pretty hard. And I do still think that, but I did kind of yoink him, I felt like, in this go through here. But I mean, I don't think he's a hard boss. I mean, he can be pretty difficult just because you get kind of used to fighting people throughout the entire game, but I definitely don't think he's a super hard boss necessarily. But he can be a little rough. I will be honest there. Like this grab right here, that thing hurts, and it has some insane tracking on it, so definitely be careful of that. But really, his grabs are kind of his most dangerous thing, I feel like, because since he's a beast, the firecrackers work really well. Keep that in mind. But this boss is infamous because of this. You get here, you kill him. Shinobi Execution pops up. Everything's fine. That is the sign to tell you that the boss is dead. And then he says no. And then the second phase begins. It's rough. Now, I do think that the first phase is harder. The second phase is a little bit more erratic, but I think it's a little easier. I'm sorry, but I think almost every single boss in this ranking is me being sloppy. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is my first time playing this game. I'm like, I don't know, probably at least 6 months, at least, probably more. And I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter recently, so I'm just gonna blame it on that for the most part. But pretty much like I feel like every boss here is pretty sloppy. But this boss is really, really cool. But it could be a little bit of a challenge, definitely, since like you struggle on this first one when you're first playing through the game, and then all of a sudden he says hee hee ha ha. I pick my head back up, and it can be a little bit rough. But really, the big problem I think with this second phase is it's how erratic his attacking patterns are. They're not very they're very weird. They're very weird attacks. I think that's kind of the hardest part. It's just kind of adapting to the weird animations and how they look, because it just looks a little funky and it's a little hard to kind of deflect and do all that fun stuff on. But other than that, it's not super hard. But once you're not bad, you should be doing pretty fine. Bring the spear. I don't really use it here, but when he falls on the ground, you can put the spear and pull it out, and you'll pull out the little centipede that's in him, and that'll do a ton of posture damage and a decent amount of regular damage, I'm pretty sure. So definitely a viable strategy to kind of speed through the second phase. But really, really cool fight and a breath of fresh air, like I was saying, so that is why it is at the number 10 spot.
I expected no less from you, my boy. With this, our supreme reign will... It seems we have a troubling guest. But to oppose the daughter of the late Lord Dogen would be quite the insult. Disgrace! My. Not bad at all. Wolf, I leave this to you. Have at it. Tear her apart.
Sir.
I have witnessed Shura once before. The very same stirs inside of you. As such, you must be destroyed.
Okay, so coming in at number 9, we have Emma the Gentleblade. This fight is... So, this fight is the precursor to the final boss and the bad ending. This boss is probably one of those... It's just one of those things that just makes you feel horrible. Like, you just don't feel good. This fight's good, this fight's great, but you just don't feel good doing it. Like, you just don't, you know? Like, this ending sucks, but it's great, you know? Like, it's just like, why? You know? Why do I have to do this? Why am I doing this? No, I don't want to. And she's, yeah, not only is she good and fairly challenging herself, but, I don't know, it's just kind of an oof to take her out. For those of you who are watching this and aren't familiar with this game, she's like the... Think of like the second to final boss of the game was the doll from Bloodborne, or the like the Firekeeper lady from Firekeeper Maiden from Dark Souls 3 or something like that, you know? Like, it just feels like an oof, and not because they're bad, they turned out to be bad, but because you betrayed them, you know? Like, it's an oof. And unfortunately, you probably have to see her die at least a couple times before you fight the final boss, which is an oof in and itself. But, just one of those fights that really just makes you feel like a piece of shit. You just don't feel good by winning this. It's an awesome fight, but you just don't feel good. That's really all there is to it. But, great fight. Big, like, meaning to this ending of the story, but you just feel awful. But, fight's number 9. Okay, hee hee ha ha. So, given my previous statements, I probably should have made this a separate rank. But we're going to be including this with the actual boss. That's at the number 8 spot. But first we'll talk about this little portion. These little flute ugly things. It's not a flute, but these things, Dragons of the Old Tree or something like that. Old Dragons of the Tree, I think. The name's about to pop up here. Bear with me. Yes, Old Dragons of the Tree is, I guess, I've always considered it part of the actual boss here, but I just thought I should address that since I'm kind of going against what I was saying earlier. But these guys, there's a bunch of them. You have to kill a bunch of them. The gimmick is that you're supposed to, like, jump from these tree branches that pop up, and when you jump down, and death blow them, you kill a whole lot of them, and that's the whole point. It's a boss. I'm not including it as an actual thing. Just wanted to kind of talk about it real fast before we got into the things. Okay, so this is the spectacle fight of this game, and it is a spectacle to behold. This fight is awesome. The thing about the spectacle fight in a game, it's not going to be very hard, not going to be very challenging. It's just there to look cool, and this fight looks cool. Pretty much what you do in this fight is you avoid his giant air slashes that he throws at you while grappling back and forth between these trees, which some of these trees will have like a lightning strike going down on them. You get to the tree in time, you grab the lightning, do a lightning reversal, which you have learned kind of to do throughout this game, and you throw it back at the Divine Dragon. You deal a bunch of damage to it, and rinse and repeat. And yeah, this fight's just awesome. It's not super hard. It's not supposed to be super hard. It's just a fun, cool looking fight. Yeah, it's an awesome fight. Really like it. But yeah, you just rinse and repeat with the whole like lightning until you get to kind of the final little thing that it does. It'll do a bunch of hits and get kind of crazy with it. It'll do a little wombo combo on you when you dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge through it all. And then once you do all that, you run your way up and you rise up in the air a whole bunch while it chases you, and you throw lightning in its face to end the fight. It's an awesome fight. Really cool. Just, yeah, one of the better spectacle fights that I think From Software has done. And that's why it's gonna be ending our video today at number 8. Okay, so that is where we are going to be ending the second part. Yeah, I'm super excited to the next part of this. The top 7. I am super excited. I hope you guys are too. I really kind of enjoyed making this one. But we got a bunch of amazing bosses to come in this next video here. Like I said, super excited to get into this. Yeah, I'd say honestly all these bosses, honestly, even from the third video, I feel like I like them all. You know, this is a very hard list to make. I'm kind of coming up with, like, even now I'm like still second guessing myself here or there. Oh, did I do this right? Should I have put this here? Oh God, what have I done? You know, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is a hard list to make. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. But take care and bye bye.